Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much once more, Mr. Walia, Mr. Saube. Thank you so much. Please, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, and please invite your friend. And not only that, please leave your comment. Today we are going to look at a very, very important topic. It is in paper 1. It is under symmetry. Of course, it falls under what we call the major topic is polygons. But I want to go in detail to talk about what is a polygon, just to understand that these are regular closed shapes. Regular closed shapes. And the first polygon is a triangle. So, we'll talk about the symmetry, but under the symmetry, we'll start looking at, first of all, where they ask you to say how many planes of symmetry. So, to summarize this topic, because we are towards the exam, ladies and gentlemen, remember to subscribe. Now, if you are given, this is an hexagon, it's a solid, although you can forgive me with my drawing, it's an hexagon, it's a solid. So one thing you should understand, I'll give you a formula now to find the number of symmetry. So how do we find the number of symmetry? It is equal to n equals to small n plus 1, where this small n is the number of symmetry. Number of symmetry. I know to some people I have to talk about what is a symmetry. So now how do I get the number of symmetry? You will agree with me that the top part is an hexagon. It looks like this, ladies and gentlemen. This is being an hexagon. It looks like this. It looks like this, ladies and gentlemen. So being an hexagon, so they ask me to say, Angel, find. So I've just taken part of the top of this part. How do we find the planes of symmetry? How many are they? So what it is, first of all, I should determine the number of lines of symmetry. So the number 1 is here. This is the first line of symmetry. Number 2 is the middle part, is the number 2. Number 3 is this part. This is number 3. Number 4, ladies and gentlemen, is this part, the middle part. This is number 4. Number 5, you agree with me that it is this part, which is number 5. Number 6 is the middle part, which is number 6. You can say I can't come to this one because already I've said this is number 1. So how many lines of symmetry? There are 6 lines of symmetry which an hexagon has. So this is an hexagon. It has got 6, sides, and it has got 6, lines of symmetry. So this is where now you should apply to say n is equal to 6 plus 1, and of course the number of planes of symmetry, they are 7. It means I've answered this question. So this is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. So it means I can cut this thing how many times? 6 times according to the lines of symmetry, 6 times, and then the middle part becomes the 7th. So this is the 7th. Thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed. These also, it looks to be very simple, but these are some of the questions which trouble you as a candidate. So now I'm preparing for the exam. So the formula, don't forget about this formula. Now, before that, there is only one shape which I should come and emphasize in the next, lesson, which you have to be careful. And this shape is called a cube. It is called a what? A cube. So we'll be looking at a cube. I'll put a star. Now this cube, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like a die. Thank you so much. Please, we are looking at the symmetry, and they are saying how many planes of symmetry. So we'll be looking at a cube. We'll be looking at a cube. A cube, ladies and gentlemen, all sides are equal. All sides are equal. It looks like this. All sides are equal. Since all sides are equal, it is like this, ladies and gentlemen. So all sides are equal. This is a very special diagram. Why is it special? Because all sides are equal. So this cube, it's just like a die. You know what is a die is? It is just like a die. So sometimes they will ask you, instead of say how many planes of symmetry has got a cube, they will say how many planes of symmetry has got a die. So don't confuse yourself on that one. You should remember. Now for this one, apart from This is the only shape whereby when they ask you to say how many planes of symmetry, please get me clear. The formula which I gave you was this one. But for this one, you have to count the number of vertices. The number of what? Vertices. So for me, deliberately I've put a V here to show that vertices for the cube. So the formula for the cube on how to find the number of what? Planes of symmetry. It is V plus 1, where this V is the vertices. This V, ladies and gentlemen, these are vertices. They are called vertices. So we have to count how many vertices it has. So it has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So there are 8 vertices. So you have to say there are 8 vertices plus 1. So the planes of symmetry is 9. So how many planes of symmetry? The cube. For the cube only, this is how it goes. So it has got 9 planes of symmetry. Thank you so much. I hope you have enjoyed this one. The rest now we continue with our formula which I introduced to you. I said for the cube, you have to be very careful because for it, you have to count the corners or vertices. You count the vertices, there are 8. This is the formula for how to find the number of what? Planes of what? Symmetry. I'm sure you are enjoying these questions. So we'll continue. We'll be looking at other things. We'll look at the one which came in 2018. So we are going which came in 2018, where they have given you this question. This is 2018, ladies and gentlemen. They'll ask you, and of course, the 2018 school, school certificate. Mind you, you just have to take one face, one plane, the first part like ABCD triangle. ABCD, if you look at triangle ABC, ladies and gentlemen, it is an equilateral triangle. All sides are equal. All sides are equal. So if we say how many planes of symmetry, this is again, you use this method which I said you look at this n means the number of lines of symmetry. So we are looking at the number of lines of symmetry. So the number of lines of symmetry, here we can say I've got number 1 here. This is the line of symmetry. So this is number 1. I've got another one here, which is number 2. I'll call this number 2. I've got the last one, this one. So it has got 3. So now it has got 3 lines of symmetry. Applying this in our formula, the number of symmetry, it has got 3 plus 1. So the answer is equal to 4. So how many planes of symmetry? It has got 4. For those who are not following me what I'm saying, I can cut this one in this form. I cut it like this. So this is number 1. It is a plane. I cut it like that. I can cut it like this again. So when I cut it like this, this is number 2. Again, I can cut it in this way. You agree with me that this is number what? 3. Again, I can cut it in the middle. This is number 4. So these are the planes of what? Symmetry. I hope you have enjoyed. So if they ask you how many planes of symmetry, I just took one face. Then I had to determine the number of lines of symmetry. The number of lines of symmetry plus 1, that is the formula. So there are 4. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you so much.